Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'll give you 3 guesses what kind of lights we're talking about today. Greetings and salutations once again. As always, I'm Diamond Mind. Thanks y'all for joining me for another video. I'm in the middle of a review on a new coblet that I picked up, and I just got so tired of videos taking so long. I just wanted to throw together a really quick video on some tube lights that are really fun and really versatile. Great tool to take advantage of if you make videos of any kind. Now, as most of you already know, I'm a cardist and a magician here in Phoenix, Arizona. My name's Diamond, and I'm also a content creator. So a lot of tutorials, a lot of cardistry related videos, but today we're going to do something video related. So grab a coffee, grab a deck of cards to jam on if that's your thing. Don't forget to like, share, and sub if you make videos, if you get value out of this content. Oh, and we also have a giveaway going on right now, on the road to 500 subs, of course. So for details on that, stick around till the end of the video. And yeah, let me break all this down, set up the next shot, and we'll discuss what makes tube lights so versatile, why I like them so much, and take a look at a couple of my favorites because they have some really sick features. Okay, now that we have everything taken down, before we get started, no, you're not tripping. This tooth was not missing last time. I got in a fight with another magician. I mean, what was I supposed to do? I show up, he's doing my ACR at my spot? No, that will not stand.
Ricky J. David Copperfield? Pen!
Get her! Hands off my apprentice! Amateurs!
I'm just playing. I did not fight another magician for busking rights.
My beautiful body, no longer properly lit.
Oh, my ponytail's been burnt! Tell her the witch's curse is broken!
But what I will say is if you come across David Blaine in the wild, do not ask for a magic trick. Just get your autograph and keep it moving. I don't know how he does it. You'd think he'd put it back. Anyway, these are tube lights. They come in all kinds of sizes, little tiny baby ones, middle-sized ones. They come even bigger than that. This happens to be my favorite tube light. We'll get into why later. It's got some pretty sick features. But first, let's talk about what makes tube lights so great, and it's their versatility. I mean, there's not a ton of different like shapes and types of tube lights, right? A tube is a tube is a tube is a tube. It's their application that makes them so versatile. They can be used as an edge light. They can be used as a hair light. They can be used as a backlight, a backdrop light, which I'm using right now, and you know, product photography. They can be used in creative portraiture. I mean, the list goes on. All right, now I want to pause and talk about the difference between hard light and soft light. It's kind of critical to the next part of the video. Now, this is a little baby cob light. It's 40 watts. We're using it for demonstration purposes because this is how a cob light is generally going to come, and it produces what's called hard light. Let's take this off so it's even less modified. See how that shadow is like a perfect silhouette of our boom and our other tube light back there? That hard outline is what we're referring to when we say hard light. In fact, some modifiers actually take advantage of that hard light, and they're not all just meant to soften, like these barn doors, for example. They can cut the light so that only certain things are illuminated, or you can use it creatively, like across the eyes, or a strip of light across a product in a commercial or something. But if we put a modifier on called a softbox, which I'm sure you've seen in the background of at least one YouTube video, it's gonna make a lot softer of a silhouette. You see how you can't even, you see that? Now, what lies at the essence of a tube light's versatility is its ability to do both hard light and soft light without needing any kind of modifier. What makes a light soft to begin with? Is it that material in front of the softbox? Is it like the shape of that softbox? And the answer is no. It's the surface area relative to your subject. Now, the proximity can play into it as well. It has to do with something called the inverse square law, but we're not going to get into that right now. Suffice to say, the wider your light is in comparison to your subject, the softer that light's going to be. Now with a tube light, All you have to do is turn it 90 degrees. A horizontal tube light produces a very soft light. If you want to take advantage of the harder or softer qualities to your light, you would need to take advantage of either different lights or different equipment, and require some sort of know-how, and it can be kind of a complicated thing. But these unique and practical lights allow me to go from soft to hard at if you're soft, but it's so easy to get hard. You can do both. Okay, so now that we got our close-up going, God, man, I'm telling you, see, this is why I say that lighting is the #1 thing that you can do for your videos. I'm shooting this on an iPhone 11, not even an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Anyway, so I want to go over a couple of my favorite ways to use tube lights on like the face and in shots like this for talking head, and then I also want to go over my favorite ways to use it with like products and non-human, stationary, more artistic stuff with a slider, maybe that type of thing. Now, before we jump in, one really crucial piece of information: this is called 3-point lighting. The main parts of your lighting setup and kind of the needs that we're going to try and meet with our tube lights are going to be the key light, the edge light, and the backlight, and maybe a couple more. Okay, so let me get that set up, and we'll start with the key. So you can tell it's a little bit harder of light, but it's not because of its brightness that it's not filling everything in. It's because I have got it in the vertical position, and if you see, it actually is really bright. It's, can overexpose really easily, and it looks about good right there. So let's try it on the horizontal position now. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but that's a trip, right? It's actually a lot softer. And in this position, it's actually the same width as the softbox I'm using on the cob light. So I think it does a great job. To be honest, I don't really use it for a key light. What I use it for more often is an edge light or a backlight. And as you can see here, I have a pretty decent edge going from a Fresnel, a Boltzmann 55, I think they're called, from Keem TV. And I think it does a really great job. But tube lights are really good as well, so let's check it out. Yeah, it definitely gets the job done. I did have to bring it a lot closer, but it provides good separation with the background. That's what an edge light is there to do. Sometimes you can fall into shadow when you're lit from this side, and this gives you more separation where you can see where you stop and the background begins. But I don't like that I had to move it a lot closer. If you notice, my boom arm there is kind of overexposed. Now, you wouldn't normally have a boom arm in your shot, obviously, but it's topical, and so that's why it's there right now. But there can often be things you're reflecting off of or flare, and so not a huge fan of that. So it's really sick because a lot of tube lights will include a grid, like a honeycomb grid like you see on a big old Octodome or something. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I love these things, and they're super effective. Watch, check it out. Okay, that I like a lot better. Do you see how I still have the edge, but my boom arm is not all lit up and blowing out my lens, right? That is exactly why we have those. In fact, if you take a look, you'll also notice that my background isn't all lit up from the tube light either, like before. Okay, let me put everything back. Tube lights are also really good for backlights, which is basically just a centered edge light that comes from your back and kind of gives you a halo or an illumination around your silhouette. But I'm actually using it for a backdrop light right now, and I prefer them on the backdrop because if you ever use a cob light, unless you really soften it and make sure to cover the entire thing, it really produces a circular gradient, which can be good, but if you want just a horizontal gradient that comes up from the bottom or the top or whatever, a tube light is perfect for that. All I have is it's just on a clamp on the ground, point it up. And now let's get really close up and start shooting some products, maybe some cardistry. Tube lights really flourish here because you're not only taking advantage of the white light and tungsten daylight, but also the RGB, and you can be really expressive and creative. So let me get the desk set up and ready for that, and we'll get started. So it's pretty fun, right? And pretty effective. I don't think I use anything but tube lights except for the panel up top, but it's probably more than a meter above the surface. I just kind of used it for a little bit of fill, but other than that, all tube lights, different sizes and colors. Now before we wrap it up, I want to go over my favorite tube light, and that is this one right here, the VL110 from Ulanzi. Y'all know I love Ulanzi. I wish they made these in a bigger size. Seems like they never have enough of a good thing. Like, I found out that they made this cob light, my key light right now. I don't even know if they ever sold it in the States. I can't find it anywhere on their website, and it's a really great light. It's 150 watts of output, 200 watt consumption. It's called 150 by, and if you look up cob lights, if you know anything about cob lights, that's rare. They usually put the number in the name that's usually named after the consumption, which in my opinion is kind of sneaky if you have a bicolor light or an RGB light and you're splitting that, say 120 or 200 or 300 watts among 2, 3, 4, 5 different sets of diodes, right? Anyway, I digress. Ulanzi is awesome. This tube light is really great for a couple reasons. One, it's RGB, which is great. Two, it's magnetic, so you can actually just stick it to things. If you don't have a light stand, just find something metal and it'll stick this way. Or if you need soft light, obviously we talked about that. And it has all of your standard bicolor and RGB effects. Scenes, I think they're called. But my favorite aspect of this light is, check this out. Alright, so check this out. At the end of every one of these is this ring that just pops off, and it fits into the ass end of the other, or excuse me, fits into the tail end of the other side. And then now I've got a 60 centimeter, 2-foot light, however long this is. And what's really cool about that is they don't sync up at all. Okay, I made that sound sarcastic, but I mean, I could do whatever I want on this one and have whatever I want going on this one and create kind of a poor man's pixel effect if you have a few of them going. Or like you could do a red RGB flash and a blue RGB flash over here and syncopate them for your cop stuff. So, I mean, they come in handy because they can get the job done of bigger and more technical and more expensive lights if you don't have them. Like I've got a 60 centimeter light right here, but it doesn't have pixel effects. I have one that does pixel effects, but it doesn't, it's light all around and it doesn't have a grid or anything to keep it directional. So it's just another thing that contributes to tube lights being just like the most versatile thing. And they just basically took the versatility knob on this model and like turned it up to 11. Oh, and if you do pick up one of these, please try to remember there's a little switch here when you undo them. You got to do that little switch because they're locked. And don't just try to, I thought it was like a screw the first time, and I effed up the other side of the other one pretty bad. It's unusable if I try to do it the other way. That was my dumb behind, that was not Ulanzi, but go pick them up. In fact, go shop at Ulanzi right now. Just go spend like $500 there. Anyway, that's everything for this video. If you're into making videos, if you're into cardistry, if both, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Oh, the giveaway. So as soon as we get to 500 subscribers, I'm gonna grab a random share notification, and one lucky subscriber is gonna win this really cool content creator package. Now, it includes a selfie stick that telescopes up to like a 5-foot like tripod type of thing. But then I'm also gonna include 2 tube lights, the wand lights I was talking about a moment ago, 2 pocket LEDs, one's RGB and one's daylight. So it's a really great kit, and I was going to include a couple decks of cards for a cardist or a magician, but if it turns out that a cardist or a magician isn't who wins, we can work out something else or whatever. But like, share, sub, it's all super duper appreciated. As always, I'm Diamond Mine. Remember, cardistry is a video art form, so learning to make better videos does make you a better cardist, but hey, learn to make better videos anyway. It's super fun, right? With that, I'll catch you next time. Peace.